Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the Battlefield 6 beta. So it's the final day of the first weekend, I believe. I'm currently recording this at like 11 p.m. on the 10th of August, and the second weekend starts on the 14th, I believe. You can see there on the top right, I'm only level 7. I've played a little bit. Obviously, I haven't gotten to level 20, but yeah, I'm very surprised at just how like well functioning this beta is, because obviously it's wise to wait until the full game comes out and see how everything actually pans out in terms of like, you know, performance and everything like that, netcode and all that kind of stuff. But just purely based off this beta alone, this is like probably the most polished a beta for a Battlefield game has been. Not that it's perfect, obviously, but if the game launches and it's of this same quality, then I think yeah, this will probably be super well received, more than it already is. And I spawned on my teammates and immediately died. You'd love to see it. All right. Also, one thing that I have to say immediately that I love about this game, that every game period, but every FPS game especially, you should be allowed to customize the color of the HUD elements to whatever you want it to be. Games have moved away from it like relatively recently, but for a long time, like especially at competitive games, there was always the blue and orange color scheme for the opposite teams, and it was just, I was so sick of seeing that. And I can't even tell what's going on. But yeah, that's a really cool feature. I love just being able to visually customize every aspect of the way that my game looks, whether it be my characters or the HUD in my video game. But yeah, if my performance in this video is not, you know, at the level you would want it to be, or that I even would want it to be, then holy shotgun. Then, you know, one, I'm just bad at the game, but two, I feel like in Battlefield specifically, you know, this is not an issue with the game. It's just more so just because of the way the game is and the type of game that it is. I feel like an individual player has much less impact on a game than, say, something like, you know, regular like Call of Duty multiplayer. Holy shotgun. Just because there are so many more players in a game, and I love watching my teammate be revived right in front of me as I'm bleeding out. You'd love to see it. Let me actually pay attention to what the fuck I'm doing. How did he kill me? He has 11 health. Okay, well, maybe I'm just cursed to be painfully average. But all right, you know what? We're going to call that a mulligan because I joined the game in progress right at the end. But yeah, talking about the game, just generally speaking, like it's almost uncanny seeing a Battlefield game, you know, at least currently in its beta form, where it's like there's nothing fundamentally wrong, like in terms of the game's design. You know, obviously, like when people played 2042 for the first time and, you know, we saw all the specialists and everything and the sort of lack of destruction in the game, it was sort of like, okay, this is fundamentally flawed, but you know, the game was the way the game was, and it came out the way it other was. And even, you know, over the years where they've updated it and changed things, it's like there's still like the base components of the game that they can't really change. But with this game, you play this game and, you know, you feel the way that it feels, and you see all the destruction and the aesthetic, and you're like, yeah, there's nothing fundamentally wrong with this game. It's all, everything that, you know, people have issues with is come down to like minute things like game balance and, you know, concerns about, you know, overall just like netcode and things like the server browser and everything like that. Like, this game is not fundamentally broken like other Battlefield games have been in the past, which is very refreshing to see. What are we playing on? Or we're playing on Cairo still. Okay, good. I will say though, this game does run way better than I thought it was going to. It seems to be like pretty well optimized for a Battlefield game especially. I would be lying if I said I didn't want to like upgrade my PC to play this game at like 1440 above 60 FPS, you know, being able to record and stream and all that, you know, probably all using like frame generation and upscaling, because yeah, I have a 3080 and my card does not support frame generation, which is kind of disappointing, because yeah, if I want to use frame generation, I can use AMD FSR, but that uses your CPU, because obviously I don't have an AMD GPU that has that like innately built into it. I get you. I've been mostly playing medic in this game just because I feel like it's the easiest, or like the most like direct, I don't know, impact that I feel like I have on the game. All right, totally just barrel stuffed that guy with an LMG. Love to see it. Let's come over here and capture this point. Throw this over here. Also, the way they reworked the support class, there's no medic or like ammo supplying class. It's just the support class does both of them with one bag at the same time, which is very interesting. Also, I love how if you revive somebody, but somebody, you know, revives them faster than you, you still get like an assist for attempting to revive them anyways. Oh, he died. Well, that's unfortunate. Just hold mouse one, hold mouse one, hold mouse one. Also, you can be crushed by buildings in this game, but if a teammate does it, then you won't be damaged by like the debris. But if an enemy destroys like a building and it collapses and it falls on you, it will actually like do damage and it can kill you. So I saw some like comments online about like the confusion between like them being damaged by destruction and sometimes not being. But yeah, that's the reason why. I will say, talking about how the like I feel like I don't really have an impact as like a solo player in like just Battlefield generally. I will say though, in game modes like Rush and Breakthrough, I feel like because it's a slightly smaller game mode, you know, the individual player performance has more of an impact. Whereas on Conquest, I feel like if you really want to have an impact in that game mode, you have to be running around, you know, communicating at least within your squad. Okay, we're just gonna blow up C4 at point blank range in front of your teammates. You'll love to see it. But it is kind of refreshing, I will say, to play a FPS game that kind of takes itself seriously. And not like in an edgy like type way, but in just more so just like the general aesthetic and atmosphere of the game. Oh no, why'd you? Oh my god, I defibbed him. Love to see it. I'm so good at this game. Oh! I love being a medic in this game. I usually don't play healers like whenever like a long time ago when I played Overwatch or any like hero shooter or whatever. Like healing was never like my thing. I didn't really care to do it. It was easy to do, but I know something about just being able to walk up to people and defib them and instantly revive them is like very useful. And then obviously you can just throw down a healing crate and just passively heal people and forget about it. It's very, very nice. I know Assault is like the sort of like run and gun, sort of pushing the front lines class that is just solely focused on like infantry combat, but I feel like playing that, I felt kind of have like no direction in terms of like what I should be doing for the team, because you have the grenade launchers which help you destroy walls and stuff, which is, you know, that's useful, but if you're not strategically, you know, using them in effective ways, then it kind of feels like you're just like blindly firing noob tubes in hopes of like just nabbing random kills, and I don't know how I didn't kill that guy. I know there's tons of people. Oh my god, he's being dragged away. I love that feature so much. It's such a good feature. I'm pretty sure oh wow, we took the sector. I'm pretty sure it was it came out at some point that there was supposed to be like a dragging revive feature in Battlefield 5, but it never was implemented because of just like how jank it was and the implementation of that game specifically. But yeah, they put it in this game and it's super, super cool. There's also like a squad proximity chat that you can enable, and when you're far enough away from your teammates, you get a radio filter over your voice. It's very, very funny. I know with the way, you know, the perception around Call of Duty recently, there's a ton of COD players, you know, trying out this game, especially since the beta is free and everybody could play it. I'm very surprised that they didn't do the typical like pre-order to get access to the beta and whatever, because they totally could have, and a ton of people would have done it anyways. But yeah, it's crazy to see, also talking about Call of Duty, that this beta, you know, it was free to try, which is, you know, obviously a contributing factor to this as well. But while Call of Duty has both a premium title with, you know, the multiplayer and everything, and then it has Warzone, which is free to play, so it has sort of both of those different player bases. But holy shit, but point being is that this beta has officially surpassed Call of Duty's all-time player count on Steam. At least the beta player count on Steam peaked at just above like 500,000 players. This gun has like no recoil. It's super insane. This was the gun I was talking about in my last video, where people were like, yeah, the guns in this game have no recoil, which if you like deck them out with all the attachments, it's like, yeah, it really lowers the recoil by a lot. But people were like showing this off in the firing range, how this gun just like out the box has no recoil, which even, I believe even in the description in this game, it tells you, it's like, yeah, this gun is designed to have like as little recoil as possible. God, the destruction is so cool. I didn't play much Bad Company 2, just because I did play the game, but I never played like the online multiplayer all that much, because that was when I had like really terrible internet. So I didn't consistently experience online multiplayer of any kind back in the day, but oh my god. Also, when you're on fire, you can't sprint, which is interesting. But yeah, at least in the beta, with these relatively, in terms of Battlefield games, relatively smaller maps that are more so focused on like urban infantry combat. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Bad Company 2, which I mean, a lot of people really like. So, I mean, even if you are a fan of like bigger maps, you know, Operation Firestorm is going to be in the game at launch, and you know, there's probably going to be a few maps that are bigger sized at launch. And I know one of the big things about this game specifically that, you know, people are debating about, you know, which is better or which one people would mostly prefer, with the open weapon system or the closed weapon system. Oh my god. Okay, we're like right next to the respawn. It probably should not even bother reviving people right here. But yeah, I don't know. I'm the kind of person that likes to have as many options as possible. Although if the game if they just picked one and they picked closed weapons, I wouldn't mind that either. It's just kind of the sort of decision to not pick one and just have them both in the game is, one, it's good because there's player choice, but it kind of feels like they're sort of being indecisive in terms of like their game design to not just pick one or the other. Although I will say, you know, with the open weapon system, I think I do prefer that, just because, you know, if I want to use a certain gun and I have to play a certain class, like that's fine. But there are things that's like, is there really a difference between like me using an LMG on this class and like me using an assault rifle with like a giant drum mag on it? Is there really a difference in that? Maybe there is, because the weapon archetypes are probably more defined and have more distinct positive and negatives than in something maybe like Call of Duty. But oh, let me spawn a new teammate. Let me spawn on them. I don't think okay, he's dead. But yeah, I always felt like the Battlefield classes were more so defined by their like gadgets and equipment more so than the weapons that they used, because even like going through multiple Battlefield games, they always switched up, you know, what classes had access to what weapons whenever they did have the closed weapons. So I don't remember if it was in Bad Company 2, but Bad Company 2, I believe the medic, like in this game, had LMGs and stuff like that, whereas in other games the support, which primarily gave ammo and stuff like that, had the LMGs. You know, obviously except for maybe like the recon, because obviously the recon is more so defined by its use of sniper rifles and things like that. Oh, my team is capturing B. Oh my god, they're actually gaming. Oh, did we capture the point? I guess we did. We just have to kill the rest of the enemy team. That's interesting. But yeah, a medic / support class being able to heal and give ammo respectively. And the assault, I guess the assault classes also would be more so defined by the type of weapon than its gadgets. Although, doesn't assault class usually always have like a grenade launcher gadget of some sort? Because I know in some games the assault class was the medic class. You know, they had the assault rifles and the medic bag, while the support had the ammo and the LMGs. There's a guy behind that wall, but I have no way to destroy it, which is very upsetting. Wow, holy, no recoil. Don't worry, I got you. This map is actually super colorful, but there are some maps in this game that remind me a lot of like Battlefield 3, where they're like super washed out and almost blue in some cases. Wow, holy, no recoil. I don't think we have access to it in this first weekend of the beta, and I don't know if we're going to have access to it in the second one either, but the assault having the respawn beacon. Actually, I've seen the respawn beacon, but I haven't seen it in like the customization menu. I've seen people deploy it, but yeah, I don't know how people are getting that. But I know the sniper rifles have like a sweet spot mechanic where they'll one shot at a certain range if you hit like high chest and above. Oh my god, what is happening? Okay, well, we're piling bodies onto it. It's like Russia during World War II. If we just throw bodies at it, they can't stop us all. I know some people argue that the sweet spot mechanic for snipers kind of makes sniping like less skillful, because you're like guaranteed a one shot regardless of where you hit them, as long as you're within a certain distance. But I don't know. Like when I think about it, that's kind of like how I would expect a gun to work. Because if it was, you know, you could one shot headshot at any distance no matter what, but you can only get a one shot kill if you hit like neck or above. It's kind of like we were number 4 in terms of the entire squad. Love to see it. I got 26 revives. Let's go. But yeah, I don't mind the sweet spot mechanic. I don't really snipe in Battlefield just because I've never been really good at it. I remember back when I played Battlefield. Again, I've played Battlefield before, like Bad Company 2 and BF3, but I played it on the 360 where it was like reduced player counts because just the consoles couldn't handle it. But I remember playing Battlefield 4 and 1, just the shit show that was in terms of a game launch, but also that being the first Battlefield that I played, that 1 ran at like a decent frame rate, and 2 also had the full 64 players in a single game. And I remember Battlefield just as a series generally being like one of the first games that I ever played that had like bullet drop in it. I don't know if I ever played any games that had bullet drop in it that weren't Battlefield, but you see how many games we get before they shut the shit down. Yeah, for real. I'm playing, it's like 12:02, so it's currently the 11th, which is when the beta should be over, but I haven't been kicked out yet, so I sit in the gunner seat in this tank. Yes. Now, I've never really been a big vehicle player in Battlefield, just generally speaking. I love, you know, walking around and, you know, running through destroyed buildings and blowing up walls and shit. And I'm fucking this team up in this tank. Hold on. I'm gaming. Oh my god. But yeah, I know a Battlefield has never been a realistic game, and people who like think it is need to be locked in a psych ward, but it's always walk that fine line between like arcadey, like Call of Duty, and like sort of like hardcore milsim stuff, just because it does have mechanics like, you know, bullet drop and things like that. But at the same time, you repair vehicles in this game by hive minding a bunch of engineers and like constantly blowtorching a vehicle as it's being shot by a tank or whatever. Nope, die. And we do have engineers repairing us because our little health bar on the bottom is constantly refilling. And I know Balancing for a Battlefield game must be a nightmare. I do not envy the game devs in that department. Like, good vehicle players in a Battlefield game have always been like super formidable, but like having to balance all the vehicles and how they work between, you know, all the different maps and 64 players and everything, it sounds like a nightmare. Yeah, we haven't really pushed up onto the point, which is slightly concerning, although I think we did capture one of the points. Is there only one here or is there two? There might only be one, actually. I don't really know why Breakthrough is limited to 24v24 and not 32v32. Like, it's not that much of a difference in player count, but it's like, I'm surprised it's not just 64 players. Also, another thing I didn't know about this game, which people have been talking about, is that apparently suppressing, it's a feature that's always been in Battlefield since like at least Battlefield 3 from what I remember, but I think since like Battlefield 4 it always like reduced the speed at which you passively regen health, which yeah, some people don't like, but I mean, because they think it rewards like inaccurate aim. But I mean, if you're using an LMG and you're spraying down a hallway, you know, and you're intentionally causing players to not have super fast passive health regen, you know, they either have to use a medic bag or, you know, run away so that they can actually regen their health. And I feel like that's a decent like sort of trade-off of, you know, mechanics and whatnot. But yeah, there's a lot of people who have not really played a Battlefield game, you know, trying this out and sort of figuring out how kill the tank. Yeah, we're fucking shut up in this. I'm on the top of the team with 18 kills because I've been sitting in this tank all game. I wonder how long I could sit in this tank before we actually get just blown up. Oh yeah, we have a dude just sitting back here repairing us. What a lad. I remember, what was it, in Battlefield 4? It was like the AA vehicle it was super good against air vehicles, obviously, but you could just like drive it around and shoot infantry and ground vehicles with it and it would just destroy them. We are being targeted heavily because one, we're in the middle of the map, and two, I think the enemy team is really annoyed at us. I think this guy above me on the scoreboard is the guy repairing us. Yeah, he is. He has 5,000 score because he's repairing our tank constantly. This game is so goofy. I love it. We do need to push up. I'm not sure where the majority of our team currently is. I think they're closer to A than they are B, but I just totally nicked that guy as he jumped 3 frames out of cover. Obviously, it would be nice to get closer to these enemies so I can actually shoot them more accurately, but that would mean getting closer to the people shooting us with rockets. Protect tank, you love to see it. Yeah, vehicles are super strong in Battlefield. It's so crazy. You know, coming from someone who's mostly played Call of Duty up until, you know, recently playing this. Holy shit. I'm getting kills. You'll see it. It only takes being in a nigh indestructible metal death machine for me to get a bunch of kills, but you know, them's the breaks. I feel like their entire team just needs to go engineer and like shoot us at the same time, like a billion rockets. Yeah, this is the map that I was referring to earlier. That kind of reminds me more so of BF3. If there was like a blue tint over this, I would mistake this for like Battlefield 3 gameplay. Oh my god, you brave soldier. Now, we are in a tank, but I don't think we're doing a particularly great job at like pushing up, but I mean, fucking... Hey, I have 28 kills. Win or lose, I won. Yeah, we need more people pushing. I don't disagree with you, but I'm not getting out of this tank, so I mean, fucking whatever. Although it might be wise to go around and push A with this tank, but... Oh my god. I have 30 kills! Although, when this game does eventually come out, one thing I will definitely be doing is disabling the fucking text chat. Because as much as communication is important in this game, yeah, some people say some wild shit in the chat, and some people are just generally not super enjoyable to be around, so, you know. Do we have more than one person repairing, or is it just this one guy? Maybe the repairing should not be as easy as this, but... Oh, there we go. We finally, after it was at 31 kills, got blown up by probably like half the team shooting us with rockets for the past, how long has it been? Like 10 minutes. Raid boss down. See, this is like the kind of shit that I would like, oh yeah, I'm glad I kept text chat on. Now I can go back to playing the regular game. Is that a sniper? Yep, it's a sniper. One thing, like, their snipers are so oppressive in this game. I say that as I was just riding around in a tank, killing people with the machine gun. But yeah, I feel like the only real way to combat snipers in this game is like one with a vehicle, I guess, but more so just with like counter snipers, because the guns in this game do not like shoot 100% accurately. I think there's some sort of like bloom in this game, or maybe it's only when you're moving, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me and I'm an idiot, but I have a somewhat difficult time seeing people in this game, especially on maps like the Cairo map, where like if you're in a building and you're looking at someone from outside, because you know you're like looking at somebody who's in like sunlight and it's like way brighter for whatever reason, since you're inside, is yeah, it makes it kind of difficult to see people. But I wonder if they would ever bring back a Levolution from, you know, into this game. Yeah, we're probably gonna lose this game, but you know, honestly, that's fine. It makes the game end faster. Watch us like do the most insane push and capture B with like 15 tickets left. Yeah, I know the new the next beta weekend is going to have, I think, new game modes and maybe new maps. I don't know if they're going to add more weapons and more levels. I don't think they're going to, but one thing I will say is that there's a lot of stuff going on the UI in this game, and like the actual HUD in game is fine, but especially like in the menus and stuff, I don't know why they did this, but oh, look at that, we got #1 squad because the tank squad was destroying everybody even though we lost, but you know, it's fine. Look at all those accolades I just got. Holy shit. But yeah, I could ramble like for way longer about this game just generally, but just final thoughts on the end of the first beta weekend here. This game is very, very fun. I probably should have made more videos on this and just maybe even streamed it at some point, but definitely I should have been playing this more than you know, and uploading it more than I did. But at the very least, I did want to at least make one video playing this up on the channel. So I don't think I'm gonna pre-order the game, but I mean, if you played this and you've seen footage and whatever, I wouldn't blame you if you did, because yeah, what we have here so far is very, very promising. Again, I think the biggest issues with this game are more so like balancing changes and you know, map variety probably being the two biggest things. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for me for today. If you did enjoy this video and my incoherent rambling, then leaving a like and subscribing to the channel would be very much appreciated. What are people gonna play when the beta is down and when it eventually ends next weekend? I have Battlefield 1 installed. Maybe I should play that. But anyways, later.
Taking over, making over the lame shit claim they make games over. It's a spell of magic, imagine what happens. Different age, different passion. What I'm asking, I can't call it. If I ain't got my crew, won't be dancing.